talk about my favorite subject, healing. So for those of you that are subscribed, thank you, thank you, thank you. If you are not subscribed, the first thing I want you to do is smash that subscribe button, hit the bell so that you can get notified when I come live and when I post new videos, because I'm doing that quite regularly now. And so I wanted to come on and just talk to you about that. First of all, I want to tell you my name is Tammy Morrison. I am a spiritual mentor, teacher, and an intuitive healer. And I am on a mission to help people to heal from the inside out, because I know that it can be done. I know it. I know it. And I actually have been a healer in many lifetimes, and I also am from about 4 generations of healers. So that being said, I wanted to just come on here for a couple of minutes and share a little bit about some of the things that I have learned about healing, because I know that so many of us need this type of message, and I'm here for it. I also am a channel for the divine, so I do also channel as I do my sessions and as I even do lives, and that is probably something that possibly could happen today. Because what I want to talk about is paying attention to our bodies, because our body does have a language of its own. And so as you begin to pay attention to it, and as you begin to figure out what it's telling you, or actually not even figure it out, just open up so that you can receive it, because that really is what we need to do. And so we can avoid having so many things. We can avoid people killing themselves and committing suicide, because that seems to be rampant right now. I actually have probably, I think right now I can remember at least 3 or 4 friends that have lost their children to suicide. I think all of them were suicide. I think one of them was like, may have been a car accident or something, but all the rest of them were to suicide. And that is like terrible to me, because they were all like late 20s, early 30s. One of them was particularly close to me because her daughter is exactly the same age as my son. And so I understand. And my son actually had some challenges with his mental health at one time. And so I understand how that can be. And my heart goes out to all of them. And I pray for them quite regularly. And I try really hard to reach out and just, see how they're doing, because I can't even fathom, and I can't understand it from the point of view that I've not ever had experienced that. However, I do empathize with them, because I do have children around that age, and I understand that it's hard out here for a pimp. I mean, it's hard out here for these children. And so, I understand that. And so I am definitely here for that, to help people, to get through some of those traumas, because a lot of times it's really, that they've made these things so big. And it's something that, you make it so big, but it's really not big, not in the big scheme of things, not in this whole big life that we have, because, and a lot of times I'm seeing that people they make permanent decisions based on temporary problems. And a lot of these young people, they don't understand that that's a temporary solution. Yeah, you broke, I understand that. Yeah, you lost your job, your car died or got broken into or stolen or whatever. But you know what? It doesn't matter, because those things can all be replaced, because they are material. One thing about it, you can replace material things, you can get money back, you can do all kinds of things, but you cannot replace your life. You just, honestly, you transition and you'll go into another one, but you can't replace that life that you have. But you can replace all those other things. You can replace cars, you can replace husbands, wives, people. Shit, if you wanted to, you could replace children. Just get some more, I'm being funny about that. But seriously, material things can be replaced, but what about your health? What about your health? And then the other thing is, what do you believe about your health? What do you believe about your health? Do you believe that your body sends you messages, to tell you, hey, maybe you shouldn't eat that thing, because maybe that's not good for you to eat? Maybe you should look at, going to bed earlier, or staying up later, or getting up, taking a nap. Maybe these are things that possibly your body is saying to you. you know. And so what happens many times is we have ignored our bodies so much. We have just decided to shut down and not even pay attention to what our body is saying to us. And then what happens is you get some kind of crazy disease or something has come upon you because you're not listening to the messages that your body is sending you. And so I am so passionate about that because I have been through that just this last year. I had, God, it seems like I was sick like all year from probably December 2021 until January this year. And it's like every time I turn around, you know, I would heal from one thing and then something else would come on, something else, and never anything too crazy. And then the other thing is, I went to get a diagnosis, you know, to go to the doctor or the hospital or whatever, to go through the death plan, the death care system. And they didn't have any diagnosis. They told me they didn't know what was wrong with it. Matter of fact, they looked at me like I was lying or drug seeking or something, and I wasn't either. Because to be honest with y'all, I have been a nurse for 30 years, but I can't stand doctors and hospitals. I do not like to go. You know, I'm just not, I don't like it. Because I guess probably because I know what is done. I know that they're practicing on you many times. I know that many times they have no fucking clue what is wrong with you. You know, and they already, you know, because when you go there, don't they say, well, let's try this and let's try that. You know, we're going to try this and we'll try that and we'll try this and try. And then come back and see me in a month and we'll see if that's working. If that's working, then, you know, cool. If not, then we'll try something else, right? Well, I'm not interested in trying any of that. I'm not interested at all. I am, you know, trying to live my best life and not be sick and not be unhealthy and all that stuff. And so I'm on this mission and this journey to do just that. And I want to bring so many other people with me because I know that it is possible. I know that it's possible. You know, I know that it's possible that you can live your best life and not be freaking sick all the time. So I want to have a little story time about I was not paying attention to my body for probably that whole year. And I tried to, you know, but I couldn't figure it out, you know. And so I started having all these different things happening with me, you know, and it started with my stomach, and my stomach was hurting me for months and I couldn't even eat. Matter of fact, I think for about a whole month I did just protein shakes and smoothies because I could not eat anything. Everything hurt my stomach, you know, and they couldn't find any diagnosis. I went to the hospital, had all kind of scans and stuff, and nothing. And so when I started studying and I started diving into the metaphysical reasons behind the stomach ailments and the stomach issues, I started seeing what was going on with me, you know, what was happening with me. And so I'm going to share a little bit because I know that other people probably have dealt with stomach issues before. And so I want to share a little bit about that. Let's see. Let me get to the page. Okay. So for stomach issues, it possibly be difficulty digesting life and assimilating new information. And then, you know, I had moved like across the country where I've done that a few times. But I had moved like long distance from where I was before. And, you know, the place where I moved, I was a little bit disappointed just because, you know, the weather, I don't like it really cold, and it gets really cold and it snows, and I'm not interested in living in a place like that. I don't mind visiting, especially if I can just stay inside of a cabin or something, you know, but I'm not interested in driving in that. I'm not interested in navigating any of that shit. I'm just not interested. So I knew that probably was something that probably bothered me more than I thought. And so what I have found out is that sometimes things bother you more than you think. Like you are just so ill about something, but you're holding it in. And so this tells us difficulty digesting life and assimilating new information, feeling stuck in a pattern of fear, limitation, worry, guilt, and despair, behaving in a superior, arrogant, controlling way, thinking that you are better than others, or feeling inferior and second best. At times, self-obsessed and demanding, wanting everything your way. Difficulty expressing yourself and dealing with rejection. Feeling attacked like you've been punched in the stomach. And I looked at that and I thought, I don't know about all that. But then I started really diving deep into myself. And I did that through journaling and through just visualizing and just lying and allowing spirit to speak to me. I started realizing that, yeah, I'm a little spoiled. Might as well tell you, I am spoiled. I am. I know I am. But I don't think in a bad way. But, that's up to interpretation of, whoever's paying attention to that. But yeah, so when I started looking at that, I was like, wow, those are things that I was dealing with. And so what I started doing was, at that time, was I started really sending energy to my stomach and started really working on my gut as far as energetically. And so I used different crystals in order to, I would lay them on my stomach and allow them to just heal me, and begin to just receive all of that goodness and stuff that was coming down from the heavens to heal me. And so I began to do that. And then there were other different procedures and things that I use energetically in energy healing, because when I do energy healing, I do it probably in a way that other people don't do it. And at a time, that kind of unnerved me for a minute, because I was thinking, God, I've taken all these courses and I've learned all these things, and I have, I didn't even realize how many certificates I have, but I have all these certificates saying that I am accomplished in all of these different modalities. And so I realized that I take a little bit of most of them. And I use them in my healing sessions, and even in the healing sessions that I do on myself, because y'all, I'm not exempt. I do healing work on myself too. And I also have people that I work with that have done healing with me. So even if you are a healer, and I have to say this, even if you are a healer, you still need a healer, because sometimes it's hard for you to see something that's about you because you have those blockages for yourself. But other people are standing on the outside, and so they can actually see those blockages easier than you, if that makes sense. But I wanted to share that because I know that, a lot of healers are watching, and I want them to know that it's okay to get you a healer, because sometimes, you need somebody else on the outside of you that can see stuff that you can't, because a lot of times when you're in the middle of something, it's hard to see. It's the same thing when you're dealing with something like when I got my divorce, I went to see a counselor. I went to get some therapy because I knew, even though, I'm pretty secure in myself, I didn't take it any kind of crazy way. I just knew that I needed to talk to somebody that had more experience than I did and could help me, and that could be objective, because that really is what it is. Somebody that can be objective, because it's difficult for you to be objective if you are in the midst of a bunch of craziness. You can't be objective. And so that's my shameless plug for, if you need a healer, get a healer. So, but I want to say that I actually did a lot of work on that. And so after that, I dealt with some other things. I mean, it almost looked like one thing after another. Once I got one thing settled down, because I also started taking some gut health stuff, a couple of things, some enzymes for the stomach, different things, because what the spirit showed me was that my stomach was inflamed and it was irritated. So when I diagnosed it as gastritis. So it was just irritated and angry at me. And I started realizing that, I just couldn't eat all kinds of shit. I just couldn't just put all kinds of things in my body, and like I stopped even drinking coffee. Like I drink coffee maybe 2, maybe 3 times a month now. I don't do it every day. It's not a daily habit. And I think that I feel better because of that. I think that has helped me to feel better. And so, thank you. And so, my train of thought just left. But I just want to say that, if you are in a place where you are feeling like you're stuck, like you're feeling like you're in a rut, and you're having difficulty digesting life, and you're having problems with your stomach, that is why. Okay, it's a little chilly out here, so my nose is running. Hold on. All right. So, I do have a healing though, because I know, like I said, I know people are dealing with this issue. So I do have a healing that I want to do. And the healing is, I want you to close your eyes if you can. I mean, if you're driving or working or something like that, just come back. But if you can, I want you to close your eyes and take a deep breath for me, in through the nose and out through the mouth, forcefully, like. So just breathe all that negativity out. And then place your hands and your attention on your stomach and become aware of how it feels. And so that's another thing you have to start doing, is become aware of how these things feel to you. So if your stomach had a voice and could tell you how it felt, what would it say? What feelings, energies, or experiences are you holding on to in your stomach that cause you pain? Imagine that there is a purple fire in front of you. Visualize taking all the worry, nervousness, attack, guilt, stuckness, rejection, and pain from your stomach and putting it into this purple fire. And then say, Divine Healing Intelligence, I ask you to release all despair, nervousness, worry, arrogance, guilt, rejection, and attack from my stomach, as well as all points of views.